kind, I said to us, arriving this late on our shores after already ravaging the rest of the world. Question: did we take the time to prepare? We connect Ghana and beyond to explore. We connect after the break.
Your success, our passion.
So how the thing end?
My God! So we video call like 2 minutes. Then now she say make I take over and meet them. But Charlie, as I hang up, we are Rexy, my data finish. Ooh. See, I roam I no get it by. So I said they come look for another phone.
Hey, my guy, hold up. You see why you for use Vodafone?
I be all be the same data.
Who tell you? Now with Vodafone, whether you get data or not, you go free use the Uber app with no data charges at all.
Hey, this so?
Oh yeah. Now Vodafone the Uber partner. So even if you get data where you use the Uber app, they not they tell you anything. Where if you no get data safe, Charlie, you the free use the Uber app. Simple. No data matter be where they be safe be say as you they use the app, you the free get free ride. Where it come with some champion discount. You can now order your Uber ride at no data cost and stand a chance to enjoy free rides and amazing discounts. Switch to Vodafone today.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868 or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and the running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
My family loves visiting me. Because I've got the super reliable and super fast 4G plus MTN Turbonet.
Everything is downloading so
And
fast.
with this super fast MTN Turbonet, it's non-stop fun and entertainment for the whole family at my house.
Wow, I finally Grandma, this is so amazing.
Connect your home and entertain your family at the speed of yellow. Get an MTN Turbonet today and stay connected to the things that matter most. Only on Ghana's fastest network. Dial *5057# to purchase an internet bundle today. We day for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality meant long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We know
it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, or call
0501 683 914
or 0232 000 In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it, and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868, or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and the running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
You're live on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Evans Mensah, and this is Ghana Connect. Now, simple question tonight. How are you keeping safe? Really, it's time to unite. Let's put aside our differences and fight a common enemy, coronavirus, which knows no religion, no ethnic group, and certainly no political party. When I say there is a fight ahead, there is. Trust me. We are connecting Ghanaians wherever they are to encourage each other and unite for the fight against a virus that has so far claimed almost 5,000 people across the globe. And you've seen what has happened in countries with stronger health systems, far richer than us, wealthier, technically capable. They have capacity, and yet they're struggling. United States of America, struggling to do simple tests. Italy is ravaging, killing hundreds of people across the world, thousands now we know. And so, yes, Ghana might struggle as well, but there are things that we can do as citizens ourselves to, one, help mitigate the impact and reduce the spread. Government has its place, definitely. And that is why tonight I will say to you that the virus, in fact, has been very kind to us, arriving this late. Yes, late. Some say it did so to allow us to prepare. Somehow the virus was sensitive. He knew Africa will struggle to deal with it if he arrived here first. He went round the world, China, Italy, US, name it, killing a lot of people before landing on our shores on this part of the continent. But the big question to us, having said that, is, did we take that time to prepare? We knew what was happening around the world. The experts told us it was not when it arrived. It was not if it arrived. It was when that it will come. It was as certain as the sun will rise in the morning and set in the evening. And true to that prediction, it is here. So, did we take that time to prepare? Wherever you are tonight, I want you to get in touch. And I've been joined in the studio by a few friends of ours. Amishadai, who has some experience to share, is connecting. Hello, I'm grateful that you could join me.
Yeah,
you've been doing the borders. I'm very curious to hear what you found there, and it comes out to that last question I asked. When I said the virus was kind to us, do you agree?
Yes, in a sense.
Because of the time it's arriving, we've seen I mean, you cannot have an excuse not to be ready if you are a Ghanaian or if you're a Ghanaian official.
I certainly agree.
Because China made mistakes from the beginning. They started regretting it later. They started managing information, not telling the truth, holding on to some. When it blew up, you couldn't hide it anymore, right? They learned, they adapted, they are winning the war. Then it started spreading. Strangely, Europe didn't learn that lesson, but Italy, classic example, they are learning. Africa, Ghana, some say we haven't learned the lesson. I don't know what you think. We are going to explore that. Victoria J is also CEO of Lifeway Products. She holds a very interesting view on coronavirus. I'm curious to hear that view. Hello, Vic.
Hello.
Great for you to join me. Fred Smith is our health, is the head of our health desk. I'll share an experience that me and Fred had a few minutes ago, but it demonstrates why we need to all, I guess, embrace the change that must happen. Sometimes there'll be lapses, but I guess it's consistently reminding ourselves of the things we need to do that will get us to become second nature to us. We've been so used to handshaking, hugging, chale, high-fiving, that now you say stop. I'm struggling to stop, but we must. We'll talk about that. Also connecting with us, we'll be connecting to Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya. They all have cases, right? African brothers and sisters all trying to deal with this. Maybe there are some lessons we can learn from them. This must be a collective fight. Remember, this has crossed borderlines, and so no one country can say you can close your doors and handle it yourself. Reverend Dr. Cyril Fayose will also connect with us. Sheikh Arimaya will connect with us. I think the churches and the mosques have a central role to play in this. If not for anything, people gather there every Sunday. And we know from what we've learned so far that where 2 or 3 people are gathered in God's name, coronavirus is more likely to be there too. I mean, that is what the Bible of coronavirus has told us. And that's where everywhere in the world, gatherings are being banned, correct? So we'll go to the churches and to the mosques as well. Dr. Bertha Sewa Ayi is an adjunct assistant professor of medicine at Nebraska Medical Center, USA. Her background is clinical infectious diseases. The best person you can talk to tonight on coronavirus. Dr. Bertha, thanks for connecting tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on your show.
Also connecting is a colleague of ours from Channels in Nigeria, and Louis joins us on the telephone line, connecting from Nigeria. Hello, Louis.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, thank you.
Nice one. I'm hearing a positive. I want to start on a positive note, and I hope it's positive, that Nigeria is coronavirus free. Can you confirm that?
Okay. Well, right now, that's coming from the briefing, the latest briefing from the Minister of Health, who has taken it upon himself to give updates on the status of the COVID-19 in Nigeria 3 times a week. I mean, this is the 3rd time this week. So the update is that, yes, the index K, has been testing negative. They've tested him a number of times and tested negative. There are still 2 more tests or so to be done on him. So right now, I think one was done today. The result of one came out today, and it was negative as well. So there's still 1 to go. After that, that is when it can be confirmed that yes, Nigeria is coronavirus free.
But the health ministry's position as of now is that it's more likely, or it's the case, that Nigeria is free. But I mean, you're saying that an additional test must be done to be absolutely certain. Hello, Louis.
Well, yeah. The why? Because the information we are getting is that even though it was tested and the result says negative, that there are still certain examinations that are being done. There are certain medical observations that are being made. Okay. Given which they cannot say that it's 100% free. I don't know if you understand.
I get you. So, I get what you're saying.
So the last test that we conducted, okay, we confirm that and of course, they will have to announce that and declare that, yes, the index case is negative at last.
Okay, two quick questions. So, in short, even before those final tests come in, right now it is looking good. At least you can say that it's looking good. I mean, and another thing is, since that first case was announced, has there been further announcements of other people who may have been infected also?
There was a case of a contact. Okay, someone that had contact with the index case. Okay, it tested negative. It tested positive, but he had been under treatment, and right now he's been declared free. So that one is settled. That one is free. So it's still the index case that we are still expecting the final announcement on.
That's a real good piece of news. Let me ask you, what did Nigeria do? Did you do something differently with the way you handled this? Because it's unbelievable that you have the case. A few days later, even the contact test positive, treated, recovers. Now we are close to. We've had health ministry say we are free. What did the authorities there do?
Well,
or is this pure luck?
I don't know what treatment. I don't know how details of the kind of treatment that the patients had to undergo. Okay, but from the information we're getting from those in charge, the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, the trade they have been up to date with regards to tracing the contact, quick action to isolate patients that are suspected, to have COVID-19, and of course the normal, routine medical exercise that has to be done, to address cases like that, So all that is what they are telling us that they have done, which tends to yield the result that we are seeing.
Louis, thank you very much for starting us off on that very positive note. Dr. Bertha Ayi, I'm grateful that you could join us again, but I want you to give me a quick comment on this Nigeria example. When I landed in Nigeria, we all thought, oh goodness, a big brother, the population size, the challenge with the health system that we know we all have and we share, we are dead. But here we are. There's a good story to tell from Nigeria. What's your own reading into this?
Nigeria has always been a shining example of good infection control. I mean, with the Ebola, I think they had a global applaud from everybody because of the way they were able to quickly identify their few cases, perform good infection control, and there was not a big outbreak in Nigeria. So I think that their biggest advantage is that they have a good panel of people with the right expertise, subject matter experts who are able to quickly come in and offer advice and provide a clear channel as to what is to be done. So that's my take on what happened in Nigeria.
Great. I mean, so clearly there is a lot to learn from Nigeria for Ghana. Now that we have not one but two cases, I think Nigeria also then had two. They had one, and then there was a contact. That was two, and then now we know. I guess for me, and I want to be positive tonight because what you want to avoid absolutely is panic, is that we can beat this.
Yes, we can, especially at the stage we're in. And the other things we learned from Nigeria, number one, is that most of the cases in Africa have been imported cases. We don't have, unlike Ebola, which generated or started in Africa, about 99% of the cases we've had are imported. So it means when you have a problem, you examine it and you design your strategy around how you're getting your problem. If our problems are imported, then we have to find a way of stopping the imports. It's as simple as that, at least in my mind. There's many things we're doing, like the strategy to identify, isolate, etc. But it seems we have imported cases. So that's one. The second thing we learn about Nigeria is that human-to-human transmission is possible on the continent. And the third is that theory of the fact that Africans cannot be infected. And that's false because the Italian man was able to transmit to another person who is Nigerian. And I know there's a patient in Maryland who is Nigerian. And I have a colleague taking care of somebody in the UK right now and that person is in isolation because she took care of a very, very ill man who is a Nigerian with COVID-19. So it disabuses our mind of the fact that we think that Africans cannot have it. But yes, there are lessons to be learned, and we have a kind of a different problem because the people have been in the country for over a week. They sat in a plane, they've interacted with people, and so now we have potentially a lot of people who may be harboring the infection right now. So our next strategy is immediately trying to make sure that we have excellent contact tracing to locate everybody who could possibly have come into contact with our 2 patients.
Great. Stay on with me because I want to read something that former Deputy Health Minister works at WHO said, and I'm going to bring in Amisha Dai on this, and also bring in Vic, who has a very interesting perspective on this. And I guess I took that line about Corona had been kind to us. Did we take the time to prepare? From reading Dr. Bampo's piece, and he says, I want to read this. Please pay attention to this one because I'm coming to you next. He says it is a question of economics, talking about coronavirus's late arrival on our shores here on the continent. It says it's a question of economics. All we need to do is to go back to history. In 2002-2003, SARS entered Africa 5 months after it spread in China. South Africa was 17th country in the world to report. No other country in Africa reported the case thereafter. In 2009, H1N1 reached 60 countries outside Africa before Egypt reported its first case 2 months after its initial discovery in Mexico. Now, H1N1 eventually spread to 41 African countries. Why? Africa is simply less connected to the rest of the world. We get only 5% of global tourism and only 4% of China's tourists. Now, although Chinese workers also come to Africa, compared to numbers that go to other parts of the world, it is insignificant. In 2017, only 16 of the total number of Chinese workers that went abroad to deliver projects came to Africa. Now, 23% of those went to the one country, Algeria. The virus is following economic routes. We've been giving a break to prepare ourselves. Let's stop speculating why we haven't had cases yet and continue to beef up our preps. Question I asked at the beginning is, did we take advantage of this period to prepare? You have, as a citizen, you were doing your own business and they happened to do transborder crossing. Where did you cross into?
I went to Togo on the 6th of March.
Okay.
Left Ghana midnight on the 6th of March, returned same day 6 p.m.
Okay. Question is, Mr. Mampo says late arrival. We're preparing. We're told the law what's happening at the port. That we have beefed up, screening, etc. You experience it in real time, reality. Give us a reality check.
So I was mentioning that crossing the border from Ghana into Togo seemed almost non-existent. So I went with the STC transport. We got to the border, and the only form of check was for passports, and the rest was just right into Togo.
Let's put in context. This was the time that Togo had recorded the case.
Yes, this was the same day. Yes.
Yeah, they had recorded the case.
Exactly. Yeah. And fun fact, I went with a friend. He didn't have his passport stamped, so we even had to come all the way back to the border to have the passport stamped. It gives you an indication of how lax the whole movement from Ghana to Togo is. And on our way back, it was probably worse. So at the border, apparently, we have a few motorcycle riders who have some form of authority to go in and out of both countries. All you have to do is give them 20 cedis, and they can drive you through the border without any contact with any border personnel whatsoever.
I see. So clearly, at the time when their confirmation had come, what we were told was not playing out in reality on other borders.
No, not at all. There was no indication whatsoever. There was no sense of alarm from anyone at the border.
I wonder how that made you feel. I mean, knowing what the threat was. I mean, we've been reading and watching this all over the world, and you're going into a country that had it, from a country that at least did not. Even if we had it then, we didn't know, right? So that must have given you, I don't know what went to your head, what you were feeling about it,
No, it just gave me a sense of despondence. I guess I lost some form of faith in our ability to stay away or curb or even protect ourselves.
Fred, on that comment about the faith in the system, you've had some significant encounter with the system over the last week as the head of our health desk. What's your comment on that?
Well, on the 4th of March, I was actually at a news conference covering the health minister addressed the media on the updates on their preparedness. And I'll read to you what he said regarding the point of entry. He says, stakeholder engagements with the Ghana Airports Company Limited, the Ghana Immigration Service, Customs, and others have been held to strengthen COVID-19 preparedness and surveillance. Screening of passengers on arrival has started using thermal scanning, and a health declaration form is ongoing. POE staff sensitized on case detection and infection prevention and control undertaken for heads of the designated points of entry, and all KIA staff. Holding room has been identified at the Kotoka International Airport to be utilized to hold COVID-19 suspected cases, and training of port health staff from designated points of entry and all staff from Kotoka International Airport. So, Evans, I did not hear anything about land border in this presentation or this update he gave. So I asked a question after his presentation. What is happening at our land borders? Because you seem to be focusing too much on the airport, Kotoka International Airport. And I asked him this question. He says, it's the same thing they're doing at the Kotoka International Airport that is happening at our land borders. So specifically, he mentioned Aflao, that's a major border, and then Elubu. These two specific borders, he mentioned them. That's the same things happening at Kotoka International Airport. And what I know is happening at Kotoka, I've been there many times. They have thermal scanners, and just 2 days ago they installed 2 more just to reduce the queue when people are coming in. So you go through the scanning, it will detect if your temperature is above 37.5 degrees Celsius.
This is at the airport.
At the airport.
But there's nothing like that anywhere else.
And the minister says we have the same at our land border.
So you're expecting for him to go through thermal scanning at the border with Togo?
Yes. There's the other thermometer which you'd have to point.
The gun.
I'm not
have that.
I'm not expecting even that one to be there.
There was nothing whatsoever to indicate that there is a form of health check. There was no points gun. There was definitely no thermal scan. The only check at the border for me was, give me your passport, where are you coming from, what did you do, okay, stamp, give me 10.
We have also had concerns from persons who use the Kotoka International Airport. Some were claiming that they were not checked, when in fact we still had the scanner there. I don't know if you really observed whether there was some scanner that maybe...
No, so the border itself is not very elaborate. I mean, the place you pass is a very limited...
So you were in the bus or you were in the car?
Exactly. When I was going to Togo, entering Togo, I was in the STC bus.
Okay.
But coming back to Ghana, simply walk through the border. So between Aflao and Lomé, there's just this building called the border.
You can walk, and
exactly.
just go.
And so I walked through to come back to Ghana.
You are in Ghana.
Chances are those in Togo who
do that crossing like
exactly what I'm saying.
A million times a day.
I didn't come back.
Yours was on the 6th of March. So this briefing I'm talking about was on the 4th of March, 2 days before.
So I did it.
You should have seen that.
Right?
Okay. Now we'll come to you, Vic, very shortly to hear your view. But I'll quickly go to Dr. Hello, Betha.
Yes.
Yes. Let me ask you this. There's a sense that I get. I mean, even today there's a conversation about name me one black person who had died as a result of coronavirus. And this is a serious conversation that some were having. Name me one black person who had died as a result of coronavirus. And that Africa, we don't need to worry. I mean, the kind of things that kill us, not coronavirus. You know what I mean? And that, look at Nigeria. The virus didn't survive. Name me one country that had one case and then had no case a week later. Nigeria. They say that reinforces the perception that this can thrive on an African continent or in a black population. Is there evidence to back this up?
There's no evidence at all, and we will be foolhardy to think that would happen because the conversation has shifted from we can't get infected to now we can't die. So let's look at the facts. All the people majority of the people who are dying are usually above the age of 80, where the mortality is about 15%, meaning if you have 100 people who are above the age of 80 who get infected with SARS-CoV-2, 15 of them will die. Compared to children less than 10, where not a single child below the age of 10 has died, even though they seem to have the highest viral loads. And then even among those who get infected below the age of 18, only 2% of the whole spectrum of COVID-19 is due to patients below the age of 20. In other words, people below the age of 20 are just not getting sick. And even those below the age of 35, most of them survive. So you look at the Africans who've been affected in Nigeria, in any part of the world, they're relatively young. Those of us who travel or who are getting exposed are relatively young. However, our old people live with us in Ghana. We can only make that assertion if there's an outbreak, God forbid, in Ghana, and we find that the old people are surviving even better than the Italians or better than the Chinese. So we really need to put that in context, because I think at this point, we've established very clearly that Africans do get infection with with SARS-CoV-2 and do get ill. The mortality, it won't be the same, because I don't know how many black people you have living in these areas, and maybe the situation in America will give us our unethical study where you have 12% of American population being black, so they're going to be exposed, and we'll see whether the Africans or African Americans in the United States, their older people, do not die because they're resistant to somehow immune. So I do not agree that it doesn't cause mortality in Africans. I think that what we're seeing is the demographics of those who've been infected so far, and that it is mirrored with the same Asian population who would get infected at age 20 or 35 or 41.
Very interesting point of view. I guess I asked that question, so if you're listening tonight and you want to take it for granted, oh yeah, I mean, I'm a black man. People joke like I have a lot of jokes. I don't know if everybody has said that among our friends. Oh, okay, Vic, talk to me. What's your view on this?
I think people are panicking, and I don't really take it that seriously, because I think Africans can handle coronavirus, because the reported cases so far are white people or foreigners. Black people have not really been infected very much. Like 99%, like the lady said, have been foreigners, not blacks. So I'm not really scared of coronavirus. I think we handle it if we obey the rules, like wash our hands, not touch our eyes and our mouths and stuff like that. Because I read an article today that an African student, have actually recovered from the coronavirus, and the Nigerians have also recovered from coronavirus. So I don't know.
Sounds like a miracle.
Yeah,
but you say it's not, because it says the black man is just.
I would.
Yeah, just a second. Let me Doc. Yeah. Doc, go on.
I'd like to, excuse me, I don't know you, Vic, but I'd like to, excuse me, just debunk everything you just said politely, because you have to look at the data. You see, it is this mindset that has led Italy, a whole very developed country with multiple ICUs. It is this thought that, you know what, it's far away in China. It's a Chinese problem. It's a Caucasian problem. That is why Italy is down on its knees crying right now. And that is why American television is full of, okay, we weren't ready. What happened? We didn't have the test. Because here is what happens with COVID-19, and which is what we should be thinking about. Thankfully, these two people were identified. The most important thing in my mind is finding patient zero. That person who is going to come into your community and infect 500 people before you are aware of it. If you don't know that person, in 2 weeks, 500 people would present ill. Then in another week, those 500 may have infected 3 people each. So in another week, you have 1,500, and suddenly, because you were erroneously thinking, oh, as for my race, it doesn't affect us, suddenly you have everybody ill, and you don't know what to do. In Italy, they also saw it far away. Oh, it's a Chinese problem. Let's just go and get our people from China. And then they started having cases. By February 29th, they looked and, oh my God, we have 500. The next week, we have 1,500. Today, they have almost 8,000. Is this same thought that somehow the virus is race-specific? No. And so far as that one Cameroonian is concerned, I still cannot wrap my mind around how scientifically educated individuals can think that one recovered Cameroonian can be extrapolated to the whole African race. There is absolutely no scientific foundation for that. If anything, that gentleman tells us that one, African genes are not immune. Two, I don't know his age, but I looked at him, he's not even 40 years old. So he is just the typical demographic of the individual who would get COVID-19 and very likely recover. But even then in America here, there are people who are below 40 years old who are in the ICUs doing Snapchat, etc., letting us know that, look, we took this for granted, it's killing us. You go to Italy and let people show you the videos of how they took this thing for granted, and I'll tell you what is happening in Italian hospitals. The doctors are exhausted, they're passing out, they have 10 ICUs per 10,000, ICU beds per 10,000. They're having to decide who should get an ICU bed and who should be sent home. In South Korea, patients are asked to go home and wait for a hospital bed and they die. These are sophisticated countries with very, very, very advanced hospitals. So if we in Ghana, with our 10 ventilator-managed treatment centers, we don't get this issue out of the way, like completely sweep it under the carpet. Africans do get COVID-19, and if we don't take time and identify, everybody be on the lookout for who is patient zero, who is carrying it among us, and we go with this, oh, we're going to be fine, it would overtake us like how tsunami comes and overtakes Philippines and people die and you're looking, oh, what happened? Because it's going to be fast and furious.
Yeah, I like that. You must be convinced, Vic.
I respect her opinion because she's an expert.
Yeah.
I respect it, but I think if we actually do as
you're told.
Yeah,
I think the precautionary measures, etc.
Exactly.
And I'm going to go to a lot of them for you.
I think we'll actually be able to manage it in Africa. That's actually my opinion. But I respect her expert's opinion.
Okay.
And I think, she has a point.
I mean, so that's the point. I mean, look, we are Africans, and a lot of my boyfriends, Charlie, coronavirus, I mean, there's a lot of that in the system, and so people Charlie, or die be die. I've heard that.
I've actually heard an expert say
that
this virus cannot survive in Africa. But they don't say this on record.
Yeah, but Vic, you're saying you're gesturing to that.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. But I think we can be infected, but we can quickly recover. Yeah, that is what I think. But I don't know the research about it. I think we need to research more.
Do you know what malaria means to Caucasians and black people? Because we get malaria almost every day.
Yeah.
If a Caucasian gets malaria, it's life and death.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do some more research. This is a new virus.
But I think what Dr. Bertha Sewa Ayi is saying is, until that conclusive
comes up, you need to
act as if this is not act as it is deadly.
Exactly.
It's killed people, and so act and move quickly and prevent.
But sorry,
go on.
Do you think we should stop working just because of coronavirus?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because I heard recently that people have closed their schools and stuff like that.
That is a question I'm going to throw. I'm going to bring in one more expert on that question, whether we should be taking more drastic measures than we are doing right now. And I'm going to bring Amisha Dai also in because, as she said, I'm coming back to Dr. Bertha and Louis and Vic and everybody else on that question. Hold that thought for me. I want to go to Kenya because another African country that has recorded a case very recently, and I'm glad to say that I've been joined by Kelvin. Hello, Kelvin. Apologies that you stayed online for a few minutes there, and I'm grateful that you could join us. I'm sure you're keeping safe in Kenya.
Yes. Evans, thank you so much. I can confidently say I'm safe in Kenya. And actually, we've recorded our first case today, unfortunately.
Oh, four? I thought it was one.
It's only the first case. It's only one case.
Oh, you mean one? Oh, just the first case?
the first case.
Okay,
One
great.
case, the first case, yes, and it was a 27-year-old lady, and she was tested yesterday, and she was found to be positive of the virus. But the medical practitioners, the doctors, are confirming that she's healthy, and she's not in any other danger of anything else, anything drastic. Yeah.
Where did she? Is it an imported case, or would we know in his travel history? Did he bring it in from somewhere?
Yes, the lady flew in. She was originally from the United States, and she flew in via London. She had a stopover in London, and she came in on 5th of this month. That is 5th of March, and it's only yesterday that she tested positive. So the rapid response team has been deployed to follow the trail of each and everyone who has been in contact with her. All the places she has visited, all the people she has been in touch with, they've been in touch with them, and they are testing them also, and as well as isolating them for possibly like an isolation, not to spread the virus further.
Beyond the contact tracing, which you just mentioned, I'm pretty sure Kenya, because you're such a center when it comes to global continental trade, etc., you must have been preparing for some time. What's the talk in town in Kenya? Is there a sense among Kenyans that Kenyan health officials have prepared the country enough for this moment?
Actually, the situation is tense naturally. This is not something we are used to. In as much as we are being told that it's a strand of flu, people are wary of that case as well. But credit to the officials, there are centers, there are isolation centers, and there are special centers which have been created to combat the coronavirus specifically, with one being at the National Referral Hospital, the Kenyatta National Referral Hospital. Another one is at the Center of Disease Control, which has like the testing center from the Kenya Medical Research Institute based there. So we have isolation centers in each and every county, and in the main hospital and the main center for disease control. Tension is there, natural tension is there, but civic education is also going on. The masses are being educated on how to deal with it. Personal hygiene, what to do and what not to do, as well as trying to control the mass hysteria and panic that may come naturally with such a situation.
Okay, I'm grateful that you could join us with that thought there. Another African country trying to deal with it. So, I mean, is there a sense that people are afraid that this might spread, or there's a sense you're confident that this can be contained? What's the sense there? I mean, are Kenyans confident that the system will deal with this?
For now, it's too early to talk about how it will be dealt with. We are waiting to see how they will deal with the novel case right now, the initial case. But all indications are there that they are going to deal with it confidently. It's, like I said, too early to talk about how they'll deal with it. Maybe if we get, God forbid, if we get another 2 or 3 more cases, that's when we can really tell if we can confidently deal with it or what will happen next.
Okay, great. I'm grateful that you could join us all the way from Kenya, Nairobi there. Kelvin Jabado, Kenyan journalist, grateful that you could join us. I want to return to the conversation that we introduced just at the top of before this connection to Kenya. And Vic, you touched on that. You were asking whether, so should we also ban gatherings, schools, churches? What's your instinctive answer to that?
I don't think we should do that. Unless perhaps we have more recorded cases, which we don't have yet. So, yeah.
I'm curious. What you think?
Evans, I think that we need to seriously beef up our border patrols. Honestly, until I knew that there was a recorded case in Togo, there was no sense of preparedness whatsoever. And you know, from Togo to Aflao, from Lome to Aflao, there's even a back door into the country where you walk behind the border itself along the beach shore. So you can imagine the plethora of people who are coming into the country. So we seriously need a case of urgency when it comes to preparedness at our borders.
I heard about some $100 million
the government has
for
an investment in just to get us ready and deal with it.
Do you think that will be good enough?
Yeah. In fact, they say it's far way more than we. Right, Fred?
Yeah. So those who prepared the budget wanted 35 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Initially, they were giving 2.8 million, and they had been asking the government to release the remainder so they can finish up their preparation. Then all of a sudden, we heard the president say, well, he's giving them $100 million, not cedis.
So can we find out what the 100 million is going to be used for?
So yesterday, the information minister told me on Top Story that a few things. Border. So they want to beef up the preparedness at the borders, have scanners. They also want to have holding centers at each border, so that if you detect somebody has that, you put the person there. The people at the border must have the PPEs, the protective thing. They also want to have isolation centers in every regional health facility across the country. Public education is going to take part of the money as well. Treatment for people who get it, etc. So it's going into all that. That's what he said. But I want to come back to that question because it's something I want to probe a bit more.
I have a point to share on the question you asked on whether we should close down schools and things like that. I may have an inside information that will not happen, at least not now. We will not do that. But my instinct is that we should do it because that's the only way China was able to manage its case the way it did. So effective. They shut down the entire Wuhan. How many people? The Hubei province, 60 million. Everybody, the government says, everybody stay at home. In fact, it was 1.4 billion people, the entire country. Government says don't go out, and they respected it and stayed at home. And gradually we can see the results that China is actually churning out. And I do understand that as the latest report that they gave, only 8 people died. 8 people is a lot of people, but it's a big improvement from when we started recording cases in China.
Okay. Now, I have 2 experts now, and I have one expert on the line already, Dr. Bertha, who is connecting from Nebraska. Very interesting perspective there from her, but also been joined by Professor Sego, who's also a Reverend Minister. Hello, Prof.
Yeah, good evening.
Prof, thanks for connecting. Before I bring you in, I want to bring in Dr. Bertha Sewa, Adjunct Assistant Professor of Medicine at the Nebraska Medical Center, USA. She's been with us since the top of the hour. Doc, I want to ask you this question that Vic brought up. We have 2 cases. We are doing contact tracing. The possibility of finding more is there. We are not ruling that out. The question is, should we at this moment, knowing what other countries have faced, begin to do the banning of the mass gatherings, the churches, the meetings beyond a certain number, or we should wait and see how this plays out before we move there? What's your take on this as an expert? She with me? Okay, we will try and see if we can get that connection to her. But Professor Sego, I'm grateful you could join me again.
I didn't know the question was.
Oh, okay. Great. So you're on. Do you hear the question though?
Yeah, I was listening partly. You were asking.
I was asking whether at this time should we already start banning gatherings, maybe schools, etc., or we should wait and play this out to see how this unfolds, and if it gets worse, then we introduce those measures. What's your professional take on this?
Okay, I think that it's too soon. We may get there, but I hope we never get there. You start doing that, and the best example is New Rochelle, New York, where this week they're having to do that. They've employed the National Guard because one attorney infected 50 people, and within 10 days there were 100 cases. So it's just a 1 mile radius where there's no school, no shopping, anything like that. We're not at that stage. At this point, what we need to do is that good contact tracing, because the minute we start shutting schools, then the cost of what we're doing becomes more than the benefit. We're just not at that stage. If we get to that stage where there's lots of people, then we do that to reduce the effect or at least minimize human-to-human transmission. At this point, we haven't even documented that they've transmitted to anybody, although the fact that they've been in the country for 1 whole week and interacted with people, been on a plane, shows that there may be human-to-human transmission, but we haven't confirmed that yet. So it will be very premature to start shutting any school down. We're just not there yet.
I'm grateful, Dr. Beth. Thanks for connecting from Nebraska. Great insights. I want to bring in Professor Sego. He's also a virologist and very experienced in this area, but he's also a reverend minister. And that's where I want to start, Professor Sego, if you don't mind. Because we know that, as I said at the beginning, where 2 or 3 people are gathered in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord, coronavirus, as we've been told by the experts such as yourself, that's where it thrives as well. Are the churches taking this seriously? What should they be doing? I wonder in your church, what particular unique measures you have already introduced or are introducing to try and help deal with this. Hello, Prof. Okay, I don't seem to have Prof's attention or he's on the. Hello, Prof. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. I don't know if you heard my question.
Yes, I heard you.
Okay, yes. So, yeah.
What I'm saying is that as our church, I'm actually an Anglican, and we just had a release from the Bishop of the Diocese that we're going to have the communion is normally bread and wine. And with the wine, Anglicans normally share the same cup. So you use the same chalice and then go around. We've had instructions that we should not use the wine. It's only the priest who celebrated who will take the wine. And then the wafer or the bread will be dropped in the hands. Previously, some people take it by opening their mouth and we give it to them. But this time, like the bishop says, we should just drop it in their palms and then they put it in their own mouths. There are many parts of the service where there's handshaking, waving of handkerchiefs. And then at the end of the service, we share the grace. There are some people who count money. And in my parish, for example, last week, we effected some of these things that they shouldn't, when you're counting money, at least they should cover your nose, your mouth, and when you finish. I mean, they always wash their hands still, but now it's becoming a more sensitive thing. But we are creators of habit, even though we agreed that we shouldn't hold hands and share the grace. At the end of the service, it was becoming a natural thing. So
Hello, Prof. It appears I may have lost Prof there very briefly. We'll try and bring Prof back, but I'm delighted to say we can also connect to Sheikh Arimayal Shaib. He's the spokesperson for the Chief Imam. Hello, Sheikh.
Hello.
Sheikh, great to join me. Today was Juma. I'm sure you went to pray.
Exactly.
Okay. Were there any visible measures the Chief Imam is introducing in the wake of this, these difficult times?
Yeah, indeed. He has been informed about the corona virus and the trend of its spread, and so he himself is advising. Already, we've also begun using our pulpits to educate the congregation about what we need to do. We are recommending the use of sanitizers at the entry point of each mosque and the use of soap and sufficient water in our washroom, since we use a lot of water in washing ourselves. We are also advising our congregation to adhere to the protocols as indicated by the World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health, i.e., avoiding the shaking of hands, avoiding contact with people in crowded places, covering the mouth when sneezing or coughing. I think these are the protocols that we are advising. And indeed, let me drop the hint. The Chief Imam wants to add his voice in a more stronger manner. And so on Monday at 10:30, he is meeting the press in order to send his message to all imams, teachers in Makaranta and madrasas, and the chiefs in our communities to continue to advise and educate the community on what we need to do.
Okay, and this is an opportunity I think we should take. Speak to the your Muslim population right now listening to you, and you can choose to speak the dialect and language you most understand. Whatever it is that you need to do to communicate what you're trying to communicate in the mosque. This is a platform you can do to millions of Muslims out there. Do it.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Jama'a barkamu da wannan lokaci. Wannan annoba da ya zo ya yadu daga duniya tun daga Amurka zuwa Europe
zuwa ƙasar Larabawa, ƙasar Iran, ƙasar Saudiya duka ana ɗaukan matakai don a hana a rage yaɗuwan wannan ciwo wanda ke kamuwa mutane. Da Ghana an tabbatar mutane duk sun kamu da wannan ciwo. To ba mu san yadda zai kare ba, kuma an ce rigakafi ya fi magani. Saboda haka nan muna kira ga dukkan limamai su mai da wannan magana wato mazance na hutuba su fahimtar da mutane. Misali, idan za a shiga masallaci akwai abin da ake zuba ma hannu don a tsaftace hannu wanda ake ce mai sanitizer. Limamai su kokari su fara ana sa shi a kofar masallaci. Sannan wurin kewayawan mu kuma shi ma hakan nan a ta sabulu da ruwa. Idan mutum ya kewaya duka in ya komo sai ya wanke hannunsa. Wurin batun gaisuwa yanda muka saba ne, amma cikin wannan halin an ce mu kame mu kiyaye gaban yin hannu da juna, saboda hanya ke na mafi sauki da wannan ciwon yake samun yaduwa. Ka samu ka daga ka dan sunkuya ma dan uwanka ko ka sa bayan hannunka ku gama hannu, alaman soyayya ku kenan. Wannan shine abin da muke son jama'a kowa ya fahimta. Idan ka yi atishawa ko kana abin ga tari, ka sa abu ka rufe bakinka. Mu guji inda ke aka cunkoso aka yi yawa duka, mu guji irin waɗannan wuraren. Rigakafi ya fi magani. Wannan shine muna kauna. Kuma National Chief Imam ranar Litinin insha Allahu ya gamu da 'yan jarida da 'yan talabishin don shi ma ya ƙara muryansa ya bada duk duniya duka ƙasa ga baki ɗaya, kama limamai da malumma su fahimci don su san irin nasihan da za su bayar. Muna godiya kwarai. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Aisha, you went to Juma today.
Yes.
You did, correct? Did you do the quick interpretation for me? Quick summary.
So basically, he's educating the Muslim Ummah about how to protect themselves and stay safe whilst we try to contain the cases that we've recorded. So he first mentioned that they made arrangements. If you're entering the mosque, there are sanitizers that you need to use to sanitize your hands before entering the mosque. And they've also been educating people on how to stay away from body contact. So greeting people, and he says that you may decide to bow and put your hands at your back like we normally do in the Ghanaian community to show respect to people rather than stretching your hands and having hand contact with people. So basically just to educate the Muslim community on how to stay safe.
Okay, Professor Reverend Sego is back on the line. Prof, so I can also speak to the congregation for me.
Well, I think that we should all be cautious and not shake hands. You're not saying anybody is unclean, but you don't know where somebody's hands have gone and touched, or who the person has come into contact with, or what the person has come into contact with. So basically what we are saying is that let's try and reduce the contact with our hands and the waving, doing things that would potentially spread the virus. That's because there may be people who have come into contact with others, do not have symptoms. And I want to also emphasize what the other lady, I think from Nebraska, said. We haven't come to that stage where we should shut down our lives. So I believe the public health experts will tell us when that should come. But we should avoid the contact, the hand greeting, the hugging. Basically it's the same thing. And you see, the messages are out there. We're basically going to re-echo those messages in our churches. And on Sunday, as part of my sermon, I'm actually going to spend a little time talking about this. So we will do our best. We should also try and reduce the things, change our habits for a while until we get this issue sorted out.
I'm grateful. Reverend Professor Sego, a Reverend Minister who's also a virologist, the best person to be talking to in a church this Sunday. So let's go through what you need to know about coronavirus. Fred, symptoms.
Well, the common symptoms of COVID-19 are fever, tiredness, and dry cough. And some patients may have aches and pains, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, or diarrhea. Symptoms may take 2 to 10 days to show after a person has been infected and may begin mildly. Symptoms of COVID-19 are similar to a range of other illnesses such as influenza. So having any of these symptoms does not necessarily mean that you have COVID-19.
That is very important. Don't panic if you start showing it, because it may not just be any ordinary cough, but just take precautions and go and check.
However, if you have these symptoms and you're unsure, just place a call. I think there are some contact numbers we will share later. You can call. Don't walk to the hospital yourself. Just call and help will come to you.
Okay, and how does it spread?
Well, COVID-19 is spread from person to person by small droplets from an infected person. So when an infected person coughs, sneezes, exhales, or talks, they may generate droplets containing the virus which settle on surrounding surfaces. People get infected by COVID-19 when they touch droplets on surfaces and then touch their eyes, nose, or mouth. So people also get infected by directly breathing in droplets from person with COVID-19 who coughs or sneezes out or exhales droplets.
Okay, and this is how you can prevent this. Thorough and frequent hand washing with soap and running water, or cleaning your hands with an alcohol-based hand rub kills viruses that may be on your hands. I like to emphasize thorough and frequent. Thorough and frequent. So just not put your hand in a soap and just do this and then you go. You have to be thorough. Fred, you were showing us how to do this.
We'll take about 3 minutes to do it properly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were saying, yes, 3 minutes. You didn't know that. To wash your hands properly. You have to put your thumb in your other
in between
your other hand and rub it. Do the other thumb,
do the other one.
and then all your the spaces in between you sort of interlock all your fingers.
Yeah.
And then rub it.
You rub in between so that you clear everything from there. You rub the back.
Guy, what do you think you're doing?
Rub the back and then scrub the palm.
You're trying to kill the thing in your palm. No, but that's serious. That's the way to do it. So you might actually wash your hands and not kill the virus if you don't do it properly. And also maintain at least 1 meter, 3 feet distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing to prevent you from breathing in the droplets they let out. Avoid touching your eyes, nose. That's one of the difficult ones for me. Oh goodness. Clean surfaces that you touch often. Disinfectants must be applied there also. I hope these things make a difference. What are people saying?
Yes, this one says, I understand there's no medicine for COVID-19, so my $1 million question is, what is being used? Just isolation and one's immune system does the magic? Is this true? Is it true that they're using AIDS medicine? And this is from the USA. This one says, if they said we should use hand sanitizer which contains 69% alcohol, why can't we use our local Apetashi which contains 100% alcohol? Okay, and then this one says, Evans, inject them, yeah. My question is, what are authorities doing about the unapproved routes at land borders? And that's Joseph from Tema Community 9. And the final one here says, yeah, the doctor doesn't understand why you're panicking. She's wrong. It is better to have faith instead of fear. Well, you heard also from your pastor as well.
Okay, thank you very much. The EPL, the Ghana Premier League has been affected by this, have it? Not yet? Not yet. Okay, but the English Premier League has been. Okay, interesting. It broke my heart when he told me. But there's more on this on First Take.